Hey, everybody. Okay.
Right. That I
literally just got off the phone with Susan Sly. That was pretty awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? I didn't have time to set up my microphone or anything, so noise. I know after doing all this that I would know how to shut off that silly music. All right. Whew, let me just get my bearings here. Let's see if you can see me. You can see me all right? We're good. All right, I'm gonna shake this out. I mean, how amazing is it to be able to talk with one of the greatest mentors you've ever had in your entire life? And not just in life, but in isogenics. And we just did an amazing call on social media, but it really wasn't so much about social media, but just about being true to who you are. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be recorded and blasted out at some point. Honestly, not to toot my own horn, but it was pretty darn good. So you'll have to catch it. It was awesome. And, you know, I learned what One Team was all about from Susan Sly, because when I started this journey, I pretty much was all by myself. And, you know, because her calls and her podcasts were open to all of us, you know, I kind of just followed her lead. And her and I are so much alike in more ways than I can even share with you. And I'm so glad that I learned from her how to do things with integrity in this business, in network marketing, and I'm going to share a lot of that with you guys tonight. Give me a second. I've been talking for an hour. All right, we fired up. We're in week 10. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your prayers last week. Helped. As you know, the Cubs are going to the World Series, and I need to talk about that real quick. I see some Indians hats, and that's okay. There is not a better team. I am glad that we're playing the Indians, and it's going to be fun no matter what. But I want to thank you guys all for your prayers and your awesome messages that you've sent, and keep praying to the baseball gods, because we got a tough few games on our plate right now, and I'm headed to Chicago on Thursday, so I'm excited to be going. So anyway, I keep praying for our Cubs. I see lots of Cubs gear on tonight, lots of Cubby blue. So anyway, thanks for that. So our call next Tuesday, before I get into this, is scheduled for Tuesday, and hopefully we don't even have to worry about a game. However, if we are in game 6 at that point, the call might be changed to a little bit earlier in the day. So I just want to prep you now that might happen. Hopefully we don't even have to worry about it. So we'll just leave it at that. So, sorry, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. Back to celebration. Again, we were at celebration, gosh, that was what? October? 2.5 months ago. So we are in week 10 of our 90-day game plan. And, you know, as we've gone through these calls, as you've noticed, at least that's just the way that I am. And, you know, and I believe it's an important part of this journey that's not talked about a lot. We have so many skilled leaders in this business, and there's so many skilled network marketers out there that teach us, you know, strategies and skill sets and all that, and they're all really great and super important. However, what I believe and what has been most successful for me, and again, I'm going to preface this by saying I am not an expert. I don't claim to be. I don't claim to know it all. However, I do know what has helped me in this network marketing journey that was very new to me. I do know what works in my life, which wasn't always so great, and I didn't always cope with it so great. And so all I'm doing is sharing with you what has helped me and what has helped me help thousands and thousands of people. So take from it what you want. take me or leave me. It's totally okay. I realize that the way that I train or educate is not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally okay with that. And I want you to know that, you know, I'm not the expert. However, what I like to talk about a lot is mindset, because it dictates everything that we do in our life, everything. Even if we are the most skilled person, I've seen some people that have entirely bigger skill sets than I do, even in network marketing, and they struggle at this because their mindset's not on point. And so very rarely will I ever be asked to train on skills in isogenics. I think they've figured it out. It's not my strength, but I do have skills and all that. However, what I am a master at, and I will say I'm a master at it, and I am an expert at this point, is mindset. I will say that. I'm not an expert at network marketing. I'm not an expert in, you know, organization. I'm not an expert in systems, because I'm not that either, but I am very, very, very good at mindset and mindset training. And so I will continue with that, because I think that's what is holding a lot of you back. Would you guys agree that it is mindset that is holding you back? Put your hand up if that is something you can agree with. Awesome. Because I'm looking at a lot of your faces, and you know, I know a lot of you, and I know how long a lot of you have been in isogenics and in this journey, and you've been to several 10, 12, 15 events, and you've even trained at some of them, and yet you're still maybe not where you want to be. And I want you to know it's totally okay. The usual difference between you going where you want to go is not necessarily your skill set or even your work or your work ethic. Because I know a lot of you work your butts off. You do. And you're awesome at it. But where the shift usually is lacking is in the mindset. And so we're going to continue with a little bit of that tonight. I will have some nuggets for you that maybe you can take with you as far as the few skills that I have. If you aren't muted, could you mute yourself? You all, and if you're not doing it. Sounds like somebody in a car. Hold on, let me try this. I don't know. Ah, I see it. Hold on. There, Jackie Ross, I see yours is unmuted, and I can't let you. Sorry, guys. All right. We're going to do the best we can through that. It's really bugging me. Anyway, guys, if you're on, we get it? Okay. Sorry. Hold on. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to have to get over it. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, I'm not going to get over it. Sorry, give me 1 second. Shannon's phone, Shannon's iPhone. It's unmuted. I don't know why it won't let me unmute people or mute people. Yeah. Okay, I think we got it. Praise God. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to Celebration 10 weeks ago, and I've led the first 9 weeks off with Eric Worre, and we've talked about his 10 qualities of leadership. And number 10 is perfect for tonight, I'm going to go through the first 9 in case you guys haven't been on these. First one was vision. These are the 10 habits and qualities of a great leader. So vision was the first one. Belief was the second one. Simplicity, the third. Positivity was 4th. Hard work was 5. 6 was focus. 7 was being unreasonable. 8 was promotion. 9 was strategy. And number 10 is immersion. And I want you to know that when Eric started reading all these off, I was pretty proud of myself because I was like, okay, yeah, I am all those things and I do have those habits. And so if one of those maybe is not your strong suit, that's where you need to focus on improving. Okay? And I want you to know that I've done so much work on myself, and that's why I have knocked all those off the list. So don't just think I was born that way. Trust me, I wasn't. I was not. But I've worked really, really hard on these areas in my life. And so I want you to know if you're not there in one of the areas, that's okay. You just have some room for growth, and you're going to focus on those areas. And so we're going to talk about immersion. And this is great because I wanted to talk about balance tonight anyway. Immersion means, throwing yourself into our culture, which I know you just showing up shows me that you're immersing yourself in our culture. It means immersing yourself in the systems and tools and training that is available to us. And I know lots of you, and I know you are doing that. And, eating, breathing, living isogenics sometimes, especially in those first few months. And especially if this is something you're wanting to do really hard and really fast, right? And I know, because I know many of you, that sometimes there feels a misbalance in that. Would you agree? You can shake your head, yeah. If you've immersed yourself so much sometimes that you've gotten burnt out. Yeah. And so we're going to focus on that tonight because, I giggled, because I always pray before I train. I pray before I open my mouth because honestly, I'm just here to serve you. I really, really am. This is not about me. Trust me, this is a lot more work than I anticipated, and I love it because I'm here to serve. But when I prayed about tonight and before my call with Susan, and obviously before chatting with you guys tonight, and I was starting to write what I was going to talk about tonight, I smiled when I read immersion because, this one is hard because we see people that have what we want, maybe at least as far as income or stars and circles, and we see what we see, and we think that in order to have what they have, we have to be them. And next thing you know, you've immersed yourself so much in this culture that you don't even know who the heck you are anymore. And raise your hand if you at all have ever felt like that in your journey with isogenics. Keep them up. Nobody else can see it but me. Nobody on the recording will see this, I promise. So good, most of you. And there's a fine line, and this is about balance. And this is where I had to really figure things out because I am not the most organized person. Time management is not a strength of mine. And so when I made the decision that I was all in and I was going to do this, I was at a point of desperation in my life where it was either sink or swim. And so I needed to really swim my butt off. And so I immersed myself in the culture, not just because I needed to make this work, but also because I was so broken and I had not a lot of people here locally that liked me, that this immersing myself in this entire culture really helped me heal a lot. And I know by looking at a lot of your faces and knowing your stories that is true for a lot of you as well. This culture is probably one of the most appealing parts of our entire isogenics journey. Would you agree? Yes. Honestly, it's probably the best product in the box is the culture that comes with it if you choose to join in with that. And here's where the problem comes, is we make the decision in our head that we want to be a business builder leader. And all of a sudden, we think we have to do a lot more than maybe we were doing before, or we have to be something that we aren't. And I'm here to tell you, you don't. But you have to be very deliberate with the time that you spend doing what you do. It can't be frivolous, spending time either on social media. It can't be just going to every event because a leader said to go. You have to choose your best yeses. And there's a book called The Best Yes. Lisa something or other. I'm sure one of you guys will throw that. You know what I'm talking about, those that have read it. This was something that I had to really work hard on. And because for most of my 40 years, I was a people pleaser, I would say yes, especially in the beginning of this, because I figured that's what I had to do to immerse myself in this. And I'm telling you right now, that is the opposite. Yes, thank you for putting that up there, Kim. That is the opposite of what you need to do. And you just need to choose better. You do. You need to choose better what you say yes to. You need to be very deliberate about when you have, let's say you have a pocket of your life that you choose to decide to build this, that in that time frame that you have, you're so super focused and deliberate about what you do in that time. You know, somebody can be way more immersed in 2 hours than somebody that is immersed in 10 hours a day of isogenics. Immersion doesn't necessarily mean the hours you spend doing the isogenics business. I see people that are so deliberate with their 2-hour window that they do a lot more in a day than I do. And I'm just being completely transparent and honest, because they have to be more deliberate than I do. But in the beginning, I had to be a little bit more deliberate, but because I was like ignorance on fire, I was saying yes to everything. I was doing everything I possibly could, not just to try to be successful and learn everything I could, but honestly, at the same time, I'm just gonna be really, really honest, to heal at the same time. I was a hot mess. I was broken. I was scared. I was everything. And honestly, immersing myself in this culture saved my ass. It really did. Because I didn't want to go back to what I was doing before, not just in my career, but I didn't want to go back to the same bad decisions and relationships I had. I didn't. And so I immersed myself in the culture in the beginning. It was the life vest. It was the life ring that somebody threw out. I mean, I was trudging the water, and, the immersing myself was the life vest. Now, as I started to be able to breathe on my own and really get my bearings, I had to change how I was immersed in this business. And even today, 3.5 years later, that is evolving in a whole different way too. That is so new to me, and it's very different than how I've done my last 3.5 years. And it's scary and it's uncertain. How many of you guys have done the Healthy Mind and Body program? I better see every hand up. If you want to be a leader, you better raise your hand and you better do it. I'm just going to say that right now. Again, you can't, people will do what you do, not what you say to do. So, one of the biggest things one of the biggest human needs is certainty and uncertainty. And that gets really confusing. You're like, okay, well, which is it? Do I need certainty or do I need uncertainty? And one of the greatest needs as a human being is certainty. But when we have so much certainty, sometimes we get bored. And when we're bored or when we're unfulfilled, we don't grow. And so that's why you need uncertainty too. That comfort zone, you need to expand your comfort zone. That's what I mean by you need both. But as my certainty grew with isogenics, I needed to expand that a little bit. And I needed to go outside the 4 walls of isogenics. And that is scary for a lot of you guys. That's why I see a lot of you, posting only on, your isogenics friends, because they're the safe place to fall. They're not going to say anything mean to you or say, why are you still drinking those shakes? Or really, you're going to post another thing like that, right? I've done it too. And in fact, I've had to really watch myself, because next thing you know, I'm talking about not posting on isogenics friends stuff. And next thing you know, I was like, wow, I just blew 30 minutes just posting on all my ISA friends. So I have to be really mindful of that too. So I want you to know with immersion, and I'm going to go into balance here because I think that's where a lot of us struggle, myself included. But immersing yourself doesn't mean eating, breathing, living. Only thing you ever talk about, everything in your whole life is isogenics. Because most of us decided to do this as a business to have freedom, right? Time freedom, spiritual freedom, freedom of all sorts of things. And I know, and I'm just speaking from, I'm going to be super transparent tonight because it's really honestly the only way I know how to be at this point. And I think it's what you guys come to expect. But I think sometimes when we are so immersed in it and we want this so bad that we get burnt out because everything about our life becomes isogenics. Every conversation that we have, people in our life, you know, all of a sudden don't talk to us so much anymore because they know everything's going to be about that. And not necessarily trying to get them in your business, because most of the people that I love very much are in my business, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about personal growth. They don't care about personal development. Even though it's the foundation of me, they don't necessarily want that. And I get that. And I think because, you know, a lot of us have had amazing journeys, physical journeys, not necessarily weight loss journeys, but like something happened inside of us that, you know, we're lit up and we think that everybody is on the same page as us. And when we realize that that's not the case, sometimes it just blows the candle out a little bit and it gets really confusing. And then we just don't even know which way we're going anymore. Am I just speaking out of my butt, or is any of you like understanding at all what I'm saying, or is it ringing true with any of you? And so there's this fine line with balance. And for me, you know, for 3 years, isogenics not only has been a massive part of my life, it is what has allowed me to have the life I have with a lot of hard work. It wasn't just I drank the shakes and opened the box and boom, I have this great life. Like I said, I work hard on Tracy really, really, really hard, long before I even talk about isogenics. But there's this balance. And I'm going to tell you right now, the last few months, especially as my uncertainty has grown and my comfort zone is being stretched, I'm having to reevaluate my balance too. And when you make a shift in your balance, regardless what that looks like for you, all of us are in different stages and different levels and different personal development levels. Anytime you make any kind of shift in yourself, the people around you, whether they're, you know, spouses, kids, family members, friends, or even people that know you, when you make a shift, somebody gets a little off balance, right? And sometimes that causes a little bit of friction. Sometimes that causes uncertainty for them that they don't want. Sometimes that causes uncertainty for yourself that scares the heck out of you. And I want you to know that all of that is good. All of it's good. But it's finding that balance of why you do this, what you really want out of this, what your intention is. And we're going to kind of touch on that. At the forefront of what this is for me is connecting. And I don't mean connecting with people to have them in your isogenics business, although that's awesome. You know, most of the people that I love very, very much are in isogenics, and that's great. However, I want you to know that God did not put us on earth to do it alone. Just sit with that a minute. This is one I struggle with a lot. I didn't think I was going to go here. Sorry. God did not put us here to be alone. And that doesn't necessarily mean isogenics. I'm not even talking about isogenics for a second here. This is in general. And sometimes we think we need to do this alone because we're the only person we can depend on. And trust me, the only person you can depend on for your reactions and everything is yourself, and you have to be accountable for all that. That is true. However, we were not put on this earth, and you were not given this big, beautiful life to do it alone. And I know that some of us have tried to do it alone because we don't want to be hurt. I know a lot of you try to do it alone because you don't want to be hurt. This is hard. Life is challenging. And I want you to know that all of it's beautiful. Every challenge is beautiful. But if you're one of those people that thinks you got to do life alone, you're sadly mistaken. I don't care what your circumstance is. I don't care who's left you. I don't care who's still in your life that maybe isn't so great to you. You always have a choice. You do. And you can choose not to do this life alone. And that is a choice I make every single day. Still really hard. It's the biggest challenge I have in my life. is getting outside of my head and outside of me and getting out there, not to recruit people, but to just be me. And, you know, it's interesting. Every time that I, you know, get dressed in the morning and make the intention to leave my house, again, I've talked about this before, I don't leave the house very often. In fact, my truck didn't leave the garage for 4 days in a row. And I could feel it, this restless, irritable, and discontentment in my heart, because I can be on social media and do whatever I do and, you know, love on the people in our Facebook groups and all that. And that's amazing. But that is not human contact. That is not existing in this beautiful world that we have. And I know I'm kind of going off, but this is so key, because so many of us, especially with social media, hide behind it, myself included. That is not connecting with people. And I'm just putting this out there for my own accountability, honestly, and I'm hoping it hits one of you where you need it to hit. Get out of your house, even if it's without makeup on, whatever, girls, boys, whatever, no matter what, especially if you are in your darkest moments, that is when you need to leave your house. Because this morning I woke up with something on my heart. It was so beautiful, but it was scary. It was so scary. And the old me would have just stayed in the house and kind of suppressed that, even though I wouldn't be, but subconsciously you suppress it when you don't go out into the world, because you're holding back your gifts and it's selfish. And so even though I had this on my heart this morning and I was grateful, it was still like, oh, shoot, now I gotta go out with no intention other than just look people in the eye, say hi, give somebody a hug. And I did all those things today. And you know what happened is I felt amazing. And you know what? I didn't once talk about isogenics, and that was okay too. But it starts there. It really starts there. We are not put on this earth to ever do it alone. And no matter what you've been through, no matter how you've been hurt, and no matter how scared you are of getting hurt some more, get out there. And I'm saying this as much for me as I am for you. And so there's balance. And I know, you know, I've had some success with isogenics, and, you know, a lot of it's been celebrated, not necessarily by me, but it's been recognized and celebrated. And I'm going to be really transparent again. That freaks me out. I don't love that, because it's like, oh, shoot. Now there's more expectations put on me. How am I going to one-up my game now? You know, I think that's why a lot of us, any self-sabotagers in the house, I think that's why a lot of us sabotage ourselves with whatever we sabotage ourselves with. And this is an area I've done my whole life, especially with my health, but also with success. You know, I'm super competitive. So this is so just bizarre. I'm the most competitive human being on the planet. I like to win all sorts of things. I want to win everything, but then I win it, and then all of a sudden I get praised, and then I freak out and sabotage the crap out of it. Is that crazy? I mean, how messed up is that? It's super messed up. And I know I'm not alone with that, because I've talked to many of you, whether it be your weight, you know, you're having some success in isogenics, you know, as a builder, people all of a sudden are looking to you as the leader, and you're like freaked out. They're like, I have nothing to give. Why are they looking to me? Or, you know, and that was one of the things with isogenics. I was like, holy crap, I really just wanted to serve people. And next thing you know, they're putting me on this stage to share with what I know. And I don't know jack shit. You know, that's really what goes on in my head, and it still does today sometimes. It's like, really, all these people are looking to me for direction, and I'm a hot mess. And I haven't left my house in 4 days, and they're really looking to me for like what to do. And I have to silence those thoughts sometimes, because that's Satan. I'm telling you right now, he wants you alone. And when you allow those thoughts to creep in, doesn't mean they don't show up. They do show up. Trust me, they showed up, you know, 5 minutes before I'm getting on the phone with Susan Sly. I'm like, really? Now? Really? You want to do this? You know, you have to work hard on silencing them. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. And so if sabotaging yourself has been a habit and pattern of yours, I want you to know it doesn't ever go away. Hate to break it to you, but it doesn't go away. But it does get easier if you work on it and if you practice. You know, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes practicing perfect. You know what I mean? There's no perfect. There's no perfect. But the only way to get better at anything is to keep practicing. And when you fall off, you just get back up. You know, it's like that little toddler that, you know, they're learning to walk. You know, do you think if they fell once, they're like, this walking thing isn't for me, I'm not going to keep trying? No. That cute little baby, no matter if it bumped its head on the coffee table or, you know, sat in its own pile of poop, whatever, in that diaper, it just keeps getting back up and wants to try and try and try and try. And so, you know, if that's you and you're sabotaging yourself, whether it be your health journey or even your business journey or even relationships in your life, I'm good at that one too. Holy moly, have I been convicted with that one lately. People that love me very, very much, I have pushed away. That is a habit and pattern. Why? I don't know. I kind of know. But why do we do those things? And it's because I haven't been practicing. I haven't been practicing as hard because I got pretty darn good at this. And I think kind of was like, I'm good. I'm good. And the next thing you know, a few weeks goes by and you're like, what is happening? What is happening? Why am I not leaving the house? Because I wasn't practicing as much on that. Am I all over the place or is this making sense? Thumbs up if this is making sense to you guys. All right, good. So how do you balance all that? How do you balance the crazy, right? Is that what you all want to know? You're like, all right, Trace, you've talked for 30 minutes now about your crazy crap. Okay, so how do we balance the crazy? And, you know, regardless, you know, some of you may have started this isogenics journey saying you want to go all the way and maybe you're burnt out, or maybe it's consumed everything that you do and you don't know what this looks like, or maybe you put big goals out there and you made a really cool vision board and it's your mind has shifted, or maybe you changed your mind. And that's totally okay. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you're afraid of the success. Maybe you're afraid of the failure. Maybe you're afraid of both. And so it's like, this is crazy all the time up in here. And I don't know what the heck, I don't know if I'm coming or going. And so how do you balance that? And I touched on this last week about writing and really digging deep. And it's not a fun job, but if you want to grow, it's what you need to do. And if you're not growing, you're dying. Tony Robbins says that all the time. And boy, has he been like up my rear end a lot lately with his stuff. And I'm like, oh, I hate him sometimes, but he's so right. Probably say that about me sometimes. Oh, I hate her, but boy, is she right. And that's totally okay. I will take that on. But if you're not growing, you're dying. And so working on yourself and digging deep and growing yourself as a person, not only will that make your comfort zone get bigger, your relationships that you do have, if you don't sabotage them, will get stronger. The people you will attract into your life will be of the quality that you want. There will be this unspoken demand of the respect you want and deserve. And so although it's very, very uncomfortable and not the most fun job, to have all those benefits, it is so worth it. And in the process, if you do choose to build an isogenics business, you will build a stronger foundation in your business. You won't have to work necessarily as hard to get the right people. And I hate even saying the word get, but to have the right people join you. And, you know, there is a balance, and I had gotten off balance. And I think that's why I was feeling that uncertainty and that uneasiness. I mean, uncertainty is good, but if it's this uncertainty that causes you to fear, to pause, to completely put the brakes on and do nothing, that is not good. Confusion and fear sometimes cause you to completely paralyze yourself and do nothing, and that's not good. Uncertainty is okay as long as it keeps you moving in a direction that's good, okay? But I think the uncertainty that we're going to refer to right now is the uncertainty that stops you in your tracks, right? That's not the good kind, okay? And how do I balance that? And I'm just going to share with you because I've had to really readjust how I balance this, because I was off balance and it was affecting everything except my children. And even then it did affect them a little bit because they know me well enough to know when I'm off balance too. And be like, hey, have you done this? Oh, stop it. Stop it. They know. It's so great. But writing and not necessarily on a computer. I'm so sick of electronics. They're amazing and they're powerful and they're awesome to help you build and keep things organized. But there is so much power with a pen and a piece of paper. I can't even tell you. So maybe you take notes in your phone, or maybe you voice message yourself thoughts. That's all great and everything. But every day I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen and write down. And what happens for me, I don't know if this is anybody else, but what happens for me is my mind is going so fast, and I don't know about you, but I used to like have perfect penmanship and I'd get frustrated and I'd start over if it wasn't perfect. I think I've passed this trait on to my son because he has the most perfect handwriting of anybody I've ever seen in my life. A boy and a lefty, believe it or not. However, when my mind is going so fast as I'm writing now, I have the most horrid penmanship. I'm scratching it out all the time because my mind is going faster than my hand can write. And you know what? I let it happen. And it's so interesting what starts to pour out when you just let it go with the flow. When you let it flow and stop trying to have it perfect. And you know what? Nobody's going to read it anyway, except me. So what the heck? Why do we do that? I don't know. But there is something very, very powerful about the pen and paper. Get a journal, get a notebook, whatever, even if it's sticky notes, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Start writing thoughts down. And I don't know what your beliefs are. You know, obviously I believe in God and I pray and I meditate every day and I ask for answers and I ask for things to be revealed to me. And as I do that, some stuff comes flooding back, stuff that I didn't even know was there. I've got, like I said, 4 decades of stuff that every day something new is revealed. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a scary thing. And, you know, sometimes when you have something kind of hit you or a memory, even good ones, this doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, but even the really good ones, embrace those and write about it in your journal, about what you were feeling, and take yourself back to whatever age that was, even if it was last week or a year ago, and how it made you feel. Like, talk about how it made you feel. The good news is feelings aren't facts. So even if you felt like crap about it, it doesn't mean you have to stay feeling like crap the rest of your life about it. And that's the good news, is you can kind of rewrite the script, or you can really, you know, think about how, especially if it was something that happened when you were a kid, how you felt as a kid, how you feel as an adult now. You know, logically and psychologically, a lot of it makes sense of why we reacted like that. But the problem is our heart still feels it at whatever age that happened. So for me, anything before 4 years ago, if it happened to me, there is a big old ding on my heart that I have to go back and re-heal. Doesn't mean because I logically understand all of it. I'm very insightful. I get all of it. But if I don't actually go back and allow myself to go back and feel that for a second and then reword it and rescript it and make the intention that I no longer feel that way about that, you have to heal the dings on your heart too, okay? You really do. And I know that you're probably like, okay, she has gone completely off her rocker. And I'm just telling you, because I logically and psychologically get everything that has ever happened to me. Like, it makes total sense why I've continued in certain areas and why certain habits and patterns exist for me still. I get it. But if I want to really change it, I have to go back and reprogram it. So if this feels off for you, totally fine for you. I was really feeling like this was off for me. I was like, whatever, I get it. But it wasn't until I really allowed myself to get over myself, and even though I'm smarter than the average bear, and think that I got this, and really went back and did this, that the real changes happened. And this is just recent. This is just recent stuff, to be honest with you. This is like the last 6 months kind of work that I've done on myself. It's a little different. And what it's revealed to me is something that I never expected, a growth in me that I didn't think was possible, because honestly, I've done a lot of growth on myself in the last 4 years, but this is something that maybe will help you. And yes, I'm reading that book, actually, almost done with it. It's amazing, Uninvited. It's very, very good. She's a great writer. She wrote The Best Yes too, didn't she? I believe. So, okay. So you're like, okay, Trace, what are you teaching us tonight, right? Are you there? Or are you okay with all this? Because this is really, really important, I think. But how do you balance that? Yes, it takes time, and things have had to give a little bit. And I've had to make choices about what has to give. And honestly, other than baseball right now, nothing. I hadn't turned my TV on in months. I didn't even know how to turn it on anymore. And I got all these like surround sound stuff. I don't even know how to work my TV. Other than baseball, I figured it out to watch baseball, but certain things had to give. And unfortunately, I had to disconnect myself from some people in my life a little bit until I figured this out. And whether or not they'll still be there when I come out of the woodwork, I don't know. That's on them, and they'll have to decide that. But this has been a process that is really challenging. And I realize that some of you have partners in your life that if you all of a sudden go on this journey, they're going to think you completely have lost your shit. And I get that. And maybe people around you will say, you're changing the rules on me. Can you please just go back to the way you used to be when we were friends? And you're going to have to make the hard decisions. I can't tell you when you're going to be ready or if you'll ever be ready for that kind of journey. I think all the stars aligned and God put me in a place where it was going to be non-negotiable for me to do this kind of thing. And so I just want you to know, and you're like, okay, what does this have to do with isogenics, right? It has everything to do with isogenics. Because if this kind of stuff is going on in your head, can you imagine how you're trying to run this isogenics business and be a leader and try to be somebody that pours value into people, and you don't even know what the heck's going on in your own head? Can you see how this may be a little conflict with how you build an isogenics business? Yes, and it's the stuff nobody talks about. And so I'm going to keep talking about it because it is so, so, so important. And I want you to know it is a forever and never ending job. It never ends. And just when you think you figured it out, plot twist, something else comes. And you just have to be willing to stand there and be like, all right, bring it. I am willing, I am open, and I'm going to be honest. You want to know how to do it? Honest, open, willing. HOW, honest, open, willing to anything that comes your way. Can we do that? I can tell I'm striking a few chords. I'm seeing you. I see you. And it starts with that. It starts with that. And I know that for balance, you know, when we're really excited about building this business, especially when we come off celebration, right? We're all fired up. And now it's getting old. We're 10 weeks in, got Halloween costumes to get on the kids. You know, hopefully the weather cracks here. I'm like sweating in this long sleeve shirt, you know, like the kids are on a routine, everything's starting to get old. And, you know, this is when you're going to really have to dig a little deeper. And for some reason, I think it's this time of year, every year, that I have these huge growth moments. Huge. I don't know what it is about October in me, but I was thinking really hard about 4 years ago. And this time 4 years ago, I was sitting in a rehab center in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was forced to completely shut off from the outside world, including my kids. I could have no outside contact with anybody, you know, and after my first 10 days or so, I could have I had 5-minute conversations with my children. And after being there, everything for, you know, however many years it was, 15, 16 years at that point, that was really, really hard. However, I was thinking back to 4 years ago, and although it was the scariest, most uncertain, most uncomfortable time of my life, walking in those doors. In that 30-day period, I had never had so much growth in my entire life. And that is because it required me to really soul search. It required me to write. It required me to really not distract myself with things. I couldn't isolate. I was stuck in a house with 10 other people that I didn't necessarily want to be stuck with, and you're exposed at all times there. However, that retreat was so powerful. And it's something that I didn't really think much about until very recently, is that retreat. And that's where balance is going to come into play. You need to decide how many hours a week you have that you want to commit to this. Nobody says you have to commit to this. If you don't want to do this isogenics business, I'm going to tell you right now, you have permission to stop at any moment. And nobody will judge you for it. This isn't about me. This isn't about anything but what you want. I really, truly, truly want to give you all permission. If you have decided this is not necessarily what you want for your life, that you can say, you know what, I'm going to keep drinking these shakes for the rest of my life. I might share it with a few people that I love, but other than that, I think I'm good. I'm okay doing what I'm doing. So I want to give you permission to do that if that's where you're at. Okay? And I know that sometimes, maybe even you've told me that you want this, and you're going to do this thing, and you're going to take it all the way. And then maybe things have happened, or maybe you've changed your mind and you're worried about maybe what even I think. And I want you to know, I don't worry about that. All I care about is you. And for those of you that are on this call that I'm not financially connected to, you're not on my team, I want you to know you are on my team. And I care about each and every one of you and what you want for your life. And if you just love isogenics because you love isogenics, then that's okay too. Do not put that pressure on yourself if you really don't want to do this. Please. And if you do really want this, then you need to know that whatever pace you go is totally okay too. All right? I just want to put that out there right now, because I know I can see it in your faces. I've heard it in your hearts that there is this pressure that you've put on yourself that, you know, some of you, it's self-inflicted. Stop. You don't have to. And especially if you know me, just know, if for any other reason, just know that Tracy loves you and cares about you. And I want you to go at whatever pace you decide to go in. All right? Like, first and foremost. And if you don't want to share this with anybody, that's totally okay too. Because you know what? I started this whole isogenics journey not wanting to talk to anybody about it. I didn't. I really didn't. And there have been times, even recently, that I've wanted to quit. And I talked about this last week. And for those of you that were at our event, the last few that we've had here, I've talked about it. I've wanted to quit. I do. I still do. I really do. I really just want to kind of just not do this anymore sometimes. And I know that, and I want you to know this too, that you can choose to serve in isogenics in a way that maybe doesn't grow your business the way that you originally thought. But as you serve and love people, you are growing people. You are growing people. And so this is going to be really, really good for a lot of you to hear, especially the last year. I have dedicated my service in isogenics to the masses because I wanted to serve. And my business itself hasn't grown. Thank goodness I did some hard work in the beginning where it's sustained and it's doing really, really, really well, and it will for the rest of my life. But my focus was on service, to serve people, to grow people, not grow businesses necessarily. And my commitment to the rest of my life is to continue to grow people, because that is what this world needs. Isogenics is amazing, and it helps people grow themselves, whether it's their health, their wealth, their personal development. But at the end of the day, each of those people have to choose that. They have to choose to grow. I can't grow them if they're unwilling. Remember how they have to be honest, open, and willing themselves. It can't be a one-sided relationship. But my service hasn't reflected in my rank advancements this last year. I haven't rank advanced in over a year. And that's okay. Granted, my rank is pretty darn high and it has an income that is very amazing. I'm not discounting that. However, that is not a reflection of the love and service I have poured into people. So I want you to know that I know many of you have poured love and have added value to so many people, and you are downing yourself because your rank advancement doesn't show that. But you are growing people, and that is way more important than a star. It really, really is. And in the process, if you're growing yourself, even better. So please, I said this last week, do not discount it. I haven't discounted my service just because my rank hasn't changed in over a year. It doesn't mean I'm not working hard. It doesn't mean I'm not adding value to anybody. Are you feeling me? Is this helping any of you? And if all you want to do is grow people, then you know what? You drink your shakes and you stay in your support groups wherever you are, and you spread your love and light wherever you can. And I want you to know that is important. And that is valuable. And that is what this world needs, to be honest with you. And you know what? You will advance in ways that does not have data to prove that you've advanced. I've advanced 100 levels in the last 7 months, especially because of the work I've done, not just on me, but with people. And you know what? They're not the things you see on Facebook. And they're not the things that show up on a recognition report. And they're not the things that show up in Facebook groups with my picture attached to it. But they are the things that I am most proud of. And I want you to know they're the things that you are doing that you should be proud of. Keep doing them. Keep doing them. And you know, I've had to balance the business end of it because honestly, I love Isogenics and I love the business and I love, you know, teaching how to grow your organization. I do. I think it's great, especially if you love serving people and you love Isogenics. I think it's a great, beautiful, perfect storm. But if you're not quite there yet, my goal is to help you grow you. End of story. I don't care about your rank advancements. I really, really don't. I don't care what your badge says. But if you're growing, then I have succeeded. I have succeeded. So there's that. Didn't know where that came from. Is that helping? Good. So what this involves is getting out of your house. I can't grow people behind a video screen, although Zoom is amazing. It really, really is. And I can help grow you from the comfort of my own safe home. That doesn't necessarily grow me. And so if you really want to help people grow, you got to leave your house too. And so we're going to work on connecting. We're going to work, especially any introverts out there. Even if you're an outgoing introvert, I'm an outgoing introvert. That means when I actually do go out, I can be like, bah! But when that means I have to leave the house though, which doesn't happen very much. So for those of you out there that, you know, maybe getting out there is a struggle for you, I'm going to push you to do it every time you say I don't want to, because I'm doing it too. All right? I'm doing it too. It sucks. It sucks to do it. Like, seriously, I haven't like washed my hair today because I knew I was going to do it. I'm like, that's a chore in itself. Not saying that you can't go with a hat on because I do that every day, but, you know, just making the decision to be intentional about it and deliberate. I talked with Susan Sly. We talked about consistency. And, you know, I know that we talk about, you know, consistency, and that's great. A lot of you guys are posting on social media and you're doing you plus two, them plus two. And consistency is great, but if you're not deliberate, it's kind of pointless, right? You must be deliberate. I mean, I can consistently post on Facebook all day long. I really, really can. I can consistently, you know, show up in our Facebook group and love on all of you. I can. But if I'm not deliberate with everything that I do, it feels like I am running in circles and I'm going to burn out. Anybody relate to that? You feel like you're consistently doing everything you're supposed to do, but you're burnt out. It's totally okay, because this is going to be huge for you right now, because I'm going to give you permission to do a little bit less, but more deliberate. How cool would that be? Have you ever heard the term work smarter, not harder? Well, this is what we're going to do right now. All right. I know, especially when it comes to social media, I mean, there's so much training on it and so much incredible training, amazing training. I've learned a lot from everything that I've ever heard about, you know, building a business on social media. And although all of that's great, I see so many people attacking social media, not deliberate. And it's like throwing enough crap up at the wall and hoping something sticks. And honestly, it's just yucky. Like that, like trying that with parenting sometimes. Have you ever done that as a parent? Like I'm going to try all these different methods at once and see which one my kid takes on to. And have you ever realized that that is just a disaster when you try to do that as a parent? For those of you that are parents, I mean, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. You talk about a tantrum breaking out. You know, you must be deliberate. Choose what works for you. And then with everything you have, be deliberate about it. Okay? Be consistent with your deliberation. Not necessarily consistent with, you know, have you heard quantity versus quality? That's kind of what that means. We want quality, not necessarily quantity. But you're going to consistently be deliberate. Does that work? Does that sound like something you can do? And the catch to that is that you can never give up. Okay? If you choose that this is what you want to do, whether it be isogenics or growing people, because that's, you know, whatever you choose, be consistently deliberate. Anytime you show up in the world, you be deliberate. And if you're like me and you have to show up in the world a little bit more often than you're comfortable, then deliberately do it. I am forcing myself to do it. I am saying yes to things that I say no to. I'm choosing wisely on the things I say yes to, but there are things that are going to help me grow as a person, which in turn helps me grow people. And not just in isogenics. That means growing humanity, which, let's be real, a month from now, who knows where this country is going to be? And for those of you in other countries, I know you're watching and wondering what the heck's going on here. We need a better humanity. And my goal is to help humanity be better. And how do we make them better? By growing people. Not growing your isogenics business necessarily, but growing people. And so that's what we're going to do. And I know I talked about this, and I'm going to go short tonight. I may open this up if you guys have questions or whatever. I don't even know. But you're going to have to really ask yourself as far as isogenics goes, because this is our week 10 90-day game plan. Most of you raised your hand. Oh my gosh, I'm like all flushed. I'm all fired up. Many of you made a vision board and you're looking at it. I'm looking at mine right now, and you know, I'm like, wow, okay, well, I'm doing that. I'm doing all that. But mine might look very different than yours. Mine was completely about growing people, not necessarily. I did have my rank advancement that I wanted to hit on my whiteboard in front of me, and about a month ago I erased it because I realized very quickly that that is not a reflection of the work I do. And I was not going to allow myself to have a label. Now I realize that a lot of you want to hit a certain income, and that's okay too. It's okay to have goals, and it's okay to want that for yourself. But again, I don't want you to, you know, just like with social media, you don't dictate the value you're adding people by the number of likes and comments you get, because you're adding value probably more often to people that don't ever comment or like your stuff. And so keep doing what feels right for you. And you're going to have to get back to your why. I know we started the whole 90-day game plan with vision and why. And maybe look at your vision board and have it sit in front of you with a journal. And I know some of you aren't journal writers, and I still struggle to force myself to do that because it's uncomfortable. Because I know when I have a pen and paper in front of me, oh, I love it. I love that. I was like, how did that happen? I got off track. Oh, when you have your vision board and a pen and paper in front of you, you're going to be surprised what comes up for you. And a lot of us, myself included, don't like to write in a journal necessarily because I'm afraid of what's going to come up. Any of you guys ever do that? Or you like sit there and it's blank? And if you really allow yourself to sit in front of your own vision board, and again, your vision is your vision, your journey is your journey, your goals are your goals. And I want you to sit in front of it. It's 10 weeks now, probably 10 weeks since maybe you've even looked at your vision board. And I really haven't looked close at it. I'm not going to lie. I just did when I was kind of talking about it. And yeah, I've got some work to do too on me. But I want you to reconnect with your vision of why you decided at the beginning of this you were all in and what that looked like for you. If it was about making money, that's okay too. I'm going to let you know that's okay. It's okay. You're going to have to reconnect with why, what that means for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, money doesn't solve everything. It doesn't heal your hurt. Your hair might look better, might have a nicer purse or a better car, but it doesn't solve everything. And that's why I focus so much on mindset, because that's where the real freedom comes, is when you are 100% okay with however you're showing up, even the messy parts. Okay? So I want you to sit with your vision board and start writing. And I would love to hear about it. If you guys want to post about it, whatever, tag me in it. I would love to hear about what that experience does for you. And you don't even have to do that if you don't want to, but I think that this will help you reconnect with why you wanted to do this. And if it is about serving people, then maybe don't focus so much on the rank advancement. And if it is about, setting your family financially free, then maybe you're going to have to really work on your mindset more so that you can put yourself out in the world a little bit differently, where you can work smarter and maybe not as hard. Again, I can't tell you what that looks like for you. And I wish I could sit in front of each and every one of you as you did it and hold your hand or pat you on the back and tell you how proud I am of you, because I am. Because I know how hard this is. It is super hard. And it's extraordinary to have the courage to do it. It really, really is. And doing that alone should make you proud. Even if the data doesn't prove that. Know that I know it. And know that I'm there with you in spirit. I really, really am, each and every one of you. And, you're going to have to really figure out if this is what you want. When I prayed to God, after I got out of rehab and I was unemployed and broken and walked out on, I literally had Casey and Joey here locally and one friend, my friend Kim. Thank God for her. We've been friends for 30 years. But locally, that's pretty much all I had here that was close to me. I have a few friends that have reconnected with me recently, thank goodness, here locally. But for a long time, they too had to disconnect from me because I was pretty toxic. And I'm grateful that they saw enough in me and a change in me that they trusted me enough to at least contact me again. And I'm grateful for that. But when I prayed to God for a way to serve people, that I could also support my family, that was the ugly, snotty prayer that I had before Isogenics came in. When I got out of rehab, unemployed, and had no idea how I was going to support my kids, I did not want to sell cars anymore. I really, really didn't. And every headhunter in the valley was after me because I was really good at it. I was really good at what I did. I was a take no crap, tough as nails girl, and I did really, really well. And a girl that's good in that business is hard to come by. But I did not want that life anymore. And so I prayed to God to present me with something that would allow me to serve and support my family. And then Isogenics showed up. And I was like, oh, wait, God, this is not what I had in mind. Network marketing is not what I had in mind. Like that is like 100% commission sales. Put yourself out in the universe, talk to people, and can't hide behind a computer screen kind of thing. And that is not what I asked for, God. And, be careful, one of my favorite things is, be careful what you wish for. And for so long, I prayed for things and they'd show up differently than I had asked for them. And I would sabotage myself or just dismiss it or, inflict my own self-will on a situation. And it's no wonder hell would break loose in my life. And I had so much drama in it because I quit listening. And it wasn't until I got out of rehab and my faith was completely rooted and anchored in God that when I prayed for that and he delivered Isogenics, And he's like, here's that, what you just prayed for. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want this. I didn't want this. However, I answered that call with, okay, then I'm just going to serve. It's not going to be about me. It's not going to be about me. Even though I needed an income, obviously, it was not about me. And I still don't love doing this. It's so uncomfortable. And that's why I've wanted to quit lately. It's like, really, haven't I done enough? And you know what? That is so freaking selfish of me. So you have to reestablish with why and what you want, your vision. You know, if you pray and you pray for certain things, I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you that it will show up very differently than what you expect or what you want, but it will be delivered. And it's up to you to be obedient to that and trust it. And, you know, when I trusted it, yes. Did it grow me? Yes. Did it provide an income? Yes. Did it have people come into my life that I never expected to come in? Yes. Did it have people exit my life that I never expected to leave? Yes. Was it uncomfortable? Oh my goodness, every day. However, God keeps growing me. And honestly, if you're not growing, you're dying. And so as uncomfortable as it continues to be, I will not quit. It will look different, I'm sure, every day. It's already evolving and looking different every day. And I want you to know that yours can look different today than maybe it did when you started. And it's only you that can decide what that looks like. And I want you to know that however you design your life to look and however you design your business to grow, that is okay. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you're loving people and serving them, then I'm here to tell you that you are doing it right. Okay? But you're going to have to get grounded with why and what you really, really want for your life. You know, I thought about my dad a lot today. I think about him every day, but I thought about him a lot today. And I had 12 days to process that he was going to be gone. And I didn't have this conversation with him. Gosh, I wish I could. Of all the things that, you know, we never regret the things we do. We regret the things we don't do when we're faced with more, immortality or dying or anything like that. And when I lost my dad, I really was faced with what haven't I done in this world that I want to do? And it was to serve people. And so I want to ask you, as you sit in front of your vision board with a pen and paper, if you were diagnosed tomorrow and had 10, 12 days to process it, you only had that time to give whatever you wanted to give to the people, would it be about a rank advancement? I probably doubt it. Would it be about the money? Probably not. It would probably be about relationships and the people that you love and the people that could have come into your life that if you just opened your heart a little bit and actually left the house to meet. And so, when I'm thinking about my dad today, it's something I'm not doing is leaving the house. And if I was diagnosed and had 12 days to live, you bet your ass I would be out of this house. And so I want you to live in that. If you had 12 days to live, how would you be spending it? And how does that align with your vision and your why? And then I want you to fearlessly go after it, no matter how scared you are, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. 12 days. If I had 12 days, I'd pack so much into it. And you know something, when I think about the 12 days that I had with my dad, instead of thinking responsibly, and this is part of the reason I'm so passionate about the freedom that isogenics can bring you, and it was that moment in the airplane seat, flying back to Chicago when I was so angry, not sure if by the time I got there, he would even still be with us. But I never for a second wanted to worry about time again. because 12 days wasn't enough. And honestly, I didn't get there in time to have a conversation with him. He was already gone, still breathing, but he couldn't have a conversation. And because I didn't have the freedom of time, or I was trying to be responsible and organize the kids, really, honestly, the minute I got that phone call, I should have been on a plane. And everything else wouldn't matter. But I'm not going to should myself to death. I'm not going to should on myself. I know he's with me more today than he was even when he was here on earth, and I have that. And I will cherish every moment I have. And so your homework is to sit in front of your vision board like you have 12 days left. And I want you to start writing down what you would do with those 12 days. And then you go live every day, every single day, and you love on people and you serve people like they only have 12 days left. And you will notice a shift. And there will be people that will probably be very uncomfortable with how you shift. And I want you to know that that's okay. They may not be your people. Okay. Whew. I had no idea where that was going. But I love you all. And I want you to know that the last 3.5 years with all of you have helped me heal a lot. And allowing me to pour into you has helped me grow. And each one of you have that in you to pour into people. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't. And there's not a podcast on it. There's not. And you'll never see this segment at ICU or Celebration, and I'm okay with that too. But I want you to know this is really what will make your life have so much fulfillment. And the rest will follow. It will. And it will probably look completely different than you want it to. And that's okay too. So that's all I got in me tonight. Seriously, you guys, I'm tapped out. But I just want you to know how grateful I am for those of you that keep showing up. For those of you that have messaged me and told me how much value you've gotten from these, I thank you. Even the haters out there, I thank you. Totally great. You helped me grow too. And I will never stop growing people, whatever that looks like. If it's, actively, in Isogenics forums, great. If not, that's great too. But my goal is to grow people. And I hope I've helped you grow. So I'm going to unmute you guys. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing all these messages. I can't even keep up. But I'm going to unmute you. Or you can unmute yourself if you have something to say. We got 16 minutes that I've committed to. So, hi. Who's that?
Margaret.
I'm Margaret. I knew you'd have something to say.
If you only knew how I have mirrored exactly what you're telling us today and how I have struggled over the last 2 months to pull myself to that point. And I just told Tiana today, I am no longer going to focus on ranks or dollars. And my goal is how many people can I go out and help today? Whether that's helping with something at church or something totally unrelated to Isogenics, or as you said, just smiling and hugging on somebody. Awesome. I've decided to stop counting anything on products or dollars and just get out and help people. And Saturday, I fly to see my daughter and my wee grandson and my lovely son-in-law. And by George, I'm not waiting 6 months. I'm going back again for Thanksgiving.
Good girl.
And I love you. And you just spoke to my heart, and I'm bawling like a baby. So I'll let somebody else have some time with you.
That's awesome. And I realize that there are a lot of people that are going to see this, and this is so not typical, like network marketing kind of training, and I'm okay with that. And I know that maybe you showed up tonight not expecting this, and that's okay too. If it helped one of you, then I'm a success. But thank you, Margaret, because you know what? If you had 12 days left, I guarantee you'd be on a plane in a hot second to go see those beautiful people. So anybody else have anything to say?
It's Corey. I have something to say.
Corey.
I joined like the second part of this call, and I just want to say that I am lucky enough to get to share Tracy a little more than most. And Tracy not only has changed the look of the way I see myself in this business and the way I see others in this business, and really opened my eyes to who I am, but without crying. She has helped me to get over my losing my father. She was the first person I was texting when he was dying, and she told me, and I'll never forget this. She wrote, "Isogenics gives you the vehicle to drop everything. Drop Isogenics and go to your dad, because you will come back stronger and better." And I did that, and I was with him for a week, and then we had one night together, and the next day he was gone. And I had to process that. And Tracy, there is nothing or no one in this world that I can say that has ever understood where I'm coming from than you. So I get you, girl, and I'm here, same way you're there for me, always. And just what you do for everybody, don't ever stop, because I won't let you. How about that? I'm not going to let you, and I can't. I won't allow it. So just like you yell at me, I'll yell at you. You're needed here. This is your purpose. This is what you need to do, and you've helped me become a better leader. And just being able to be with you 4 times a year for our Raw and Real. I mean, when we get really down into it, it's you're an amazing person, and I'm so grateful to call you one of my best friends.
Love you, girl.
I love you too.
Ugh. All right. Anybody else before I completely lose my stuff all over? If not, that's totally okay too.
Lucy, can I share for a second?
Cry. Yes. You're so
I'm not on Tracy's team, but I met her at a Raw and Real event, and the beautiful Corey, and I know Deanna really well. And I lost my dad 6 months ago. Sorry. And my mom and I came up and met Tracy, and she just wrapped her arms around her and poured just so much love and caring, and I really got to see her heart so much. And there's times that I really struggle, especially now with this World Series. This would have been something my dad would have been over the moon. And just to talk to him about the crazy election crap that's going on, it was just been so much fun to talk to him about. But I had to deal with the night before he died, and it was unexpected. He was sick, but he was getting better. And I hadn't seen him in about 4 days. I was there every day for months and months at the hospital and all that while he was sick, but he was getting better. But he was contagious, so I didn't see him for about a week. And they were going to come over to my house the next day. I was going to help them with taxes. And I said, my sister-in-law just got here unexpectedly. Can you just wait till tomorrow? And I'll help you tomorrow. And he died that night. And I haven't really done that. So I pour into my team, and I love on everybody like Tracy loves on you guys. And you're so blessed to have her. But this company is so much bigger. Our team is called Legacy Nation, and we are so about legacy and what that means to whether you have physical, biological people in your life, or your team becomes your family and they become the legacy that you build. So I opened up the line because I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone to get on somebody else's team call. But I really wanted to just say to you, Tracy, thank you for pouring out. I know this has been a really difficult time because I know you would have loved your dad here to see what's going on with your Cubs. And I know that's really emotional, and I can feel your pain. I really do. But you have a beautiful team here. Nobody, and this was an anointed call from the Holy Spirit. And that's what I believe. And I just want to say thank you. And thank you for allowing other people to be on this call tonight. It's very, very generous, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Meeting your mom and you was such a powerful moment for me too. I used that picture that I didn't even know you took of her and I at Celebration on my big, you know, the thing that I represent as service. And that was such a big moment, you know, aside from all the chatter around us at that event, and it was amazing, don't get me wrong. That moment was as much for me as it was for you and your mom. And so thank you for sharing with me that moment and what transpired with you and your mom after. Keep going, keep stepping out of your comfort zone. You're beautiful, just the way you are. So, oh gosh. All right, one more, two more maybe? We got
Hey,
8
Tracy, it's Alana. I don't know if you can hear me.
minutes. Oh, you're making me cry.
Yeah, my heart's been beating, but I'm gonna ask God to give me the words to get it across to you. Just first and foremost, thank you, for all of your service in and outside of isogenics, but most definitely for what you have done outside has filled me up and my family. And my husband and I truly believe that our son is a direct reflection of the love and the service that you poured into me from the very beginning, completely outside of isogenics. My relationships, or actually, I actually have relationships. Like you said, I get out of the house now. I had a couple of women over for lunch, both in their 60s and one's in her 80s, and it was the most beautiful thing. And I had a million things going on, but I said, I made this commitment, and that's the other thing you taught me, how to connect with people, how to be real, how to love myself. And now I can love on my family like I've never been able to. And just those little moments throughout the day that I can thank God and say that, God loves me. He's given me such incredible people in my life, incredible things. Even if the house, the car, everything was gone, I would feel so, so wealthy and rich. And I just want to thank you for that, for showing me how leaders go first and not necessarily in the business part. Leading first with love, first and foremost. I think that was the biggest thing for me that I've learned from you, because I had that judgment out there with my very close people in my family, and there was a wedge. And from what you've taught me, the people that you've helped me get into surround myself with the right people, it's changed everything for our family. And I can't believe the life that we live today because of all the love and the service that you've given myself and everyone that you come into contact with. Thank you, Tracy. I love you so much.
I love you too. And when I think about, I appreciate all the beautiful things that you guys have said to me, and I said not to use the word but, and if I have made a difference in your life, I appreciate that. And I'm super uncomfortable with all the thank yous, and if I have made an impact, and as scary as it might be, I want you to go pay that forward to somebody else. And I know that, Alana, that's kind of what you've done. And so that is the best thank you I could ever get, is for you to pay that forward. If I have helped you grow as a human being or loved you in a way that maybe you felt you were not lovable or whatever, you go pay that forward and do that to somebody else, even if it's scary for you and even if it's uncomfortable. And even if you don't want to, especially if you don't want to, because that's pretty much how I did that, is every time I didn't want to, I did it anyway. And God kept blessing me over and over and over by the beautiful people like you showing up in my life. So you're a beautiful reminder every day, Alana, why I do this. I know you know what I mean. So thank you. I love you. All right, one more and then we're...
Tracy, it's Amy.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I just want to tell you that you know how much you mean to me. I mean, I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for you coming out, seeing me, believing in me, seeing something in me before I even saw it, and for you seriously taking the time to come out and be in my hometown. That meant so much to me, more than you can imagine. And what you said to me was so powerful when you said, I don't care if anybody shows up, we're going to make this work. And you have something so special that you're going to give to people, and I see it in you. and then you getting me out to NYKO. That changed everything for me too. And just seriously, your belief in me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I would not be here, and I would not be doing what I'm doing, and I would not have the courage or the strength or anything if it wasn't for you. I never felt so much belief and love from you. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart.
And you know what? Thank you. And you are paying that forward. Keep going. Keep making dreams come true. Christine, John, I want you to finish it because I saw you. So I love you. Enjoy LA.
Yes.
So I absolutely need to say something, and I do not mean any disrespect by this, Tracy, but this isn't about you. This is not about you. We have been drawn to you as a team, and I truly believe we keep coming back to you because we know in our hearts that God has asked us to do something bigger than we are doing. And we see you taking those steps, but it's not about you. And we have to step into our purpose. We have to choose to step forward and do what we're being asked to do. So this isn't about you, as you know, as many times and as many people say thank you, and we are grateful. But we are more grateful because you are reminding us what is critical for us to do.
Agree 100%. Agree 100%. And, you know, it's one of those things that it's great that people find things I say or do inspiring, but if you're not moved into action, that kind of sucks. And, you know, I think my friend used to call this like inspirational entertainment. That's not what I'm here for. And, you know, I want you to move because this is not about me. Trust me. I agree with you. It is up to you to find it within you to move into action, to get over your fears, to get over whatever you need to go get over and stop sabotaging yourself where you sabotage yourself, or to quit living in fear. Because quite honestly, if you are living in fear, you're not believing that there's something else that's going to push you forward. And, you know, love trumps fear every time. So every time you find yourself in fear or you're paralyzed, go love on somebody, because love will kick that fear butt every time. It really, really does. And I can't be behind you telling you to do that. But if it isn't about me, but if you do hear my voice in your head saying love trumps fear, I will call that a win. If it at least planted a seed in your head that love will trump this fear, love will trump this fear, love will trump this fear every single time, you will find yourself making an impact in humanity and all over the world every time that you tell yourself that love will trump that fear. So thank you, Christine, for saying that. I agree with that. And I think we are done for the night. So I just appreciate you all showing up. Again, this will only be available for 48 hours. So as soon as it's downloaded, I will upload it to wherever the cloud is and make it available for all of you. For those of you not on our team, I can't post this in any of the Isogenics Facebook groups, the link. So you're going to have to find it on YouTube, follow me on YouTube, share it on YouTube. But again, it's only going to be available till Wednesday night. So I appreciate each and every one of you and your part in my journey. And I love you guys so, so much. Keep showing up and keep doing the work, because it works if you work it. So I love you. Love you. See you guys soon.
Thank you.